can't be always bad with Republicans, and it can't be always bad with marijuana news. This time we have a Tennessee Republican lawmaker on a fact-finding mission to Colorado. Tennessean's Joel Ebert wrote this copy I'm reading to you today. So shout out, shout out. Okay, here we go. A Republican lawmaker is in the midst of a fact-finding mission to Colorado to learn about the benefit medical marijuana has had on former Tennesseans who all exited when they found out that Tennessee wasn't going to write any medical marijuana laws, or the ones that they were going to try to pass didn't work out. So, documenting his journey on Facebook since Saturday, Representative Jeremy Fison, Republican from Cosby, has been interviewing former residents of Tennessee who left the state for Colorado, which legalized marijuana for recreational purposes in 2012. The purpose of the trip, Fison told the Tennessean on Monday, was to talk to families who have seen the direct benefits of using marijuana for medical purposes. Quote, "I just want to have the stuff to back it up, and why we are losing Tennesseans to Colorado," Fison said. Fison began his interviews by talking to Rachel and Sean Selmeskis, who said the quality of life for their daughter Maggie has dramatically improved since the couple moved to Colorado 3 years ago. The Selmeskis, who Fison described as refugees from Greene County, said their daughter began having seizures at 6 weeks old. In an effort to stave off the young girl's seizures, she began taking 4 different types of FDA-approved drugs a day. When the Selmeskis, sorry guys, I'm murdering your name every time I say it. I don't mean to. I'm just reading off a paper. I'm so sorry. But anyway, when the Selmeskis were told their daughter's outlook did not look good, the family began considering other options. "We continued to look more into this cannabis option," Rachel Selmeski said. "We didn't have time to wait for legislation to get on board." Selmeski, who noted her daughter's seizures went from 500 a day to 50 a day since using medical marijuana, said she's convinced Maggie would not be alive today without the use of cannabis. Sean Selmeski said he was initially opposed to the use of medical marijuana, in part because the stigma associated with cannabis. But that has changed after he began seeing the way it has helped Maggie, he said. In addition to health benefits, the Selmeskis and their daughter has experienced, the family went from using insurance to cover the expense of several drugs, including one that cost $20,000 a month, to now paying just $45 a month for cannabis. And there's no insurance that I know of that covers cannabis, but in a lot of cases the cannabis oil can get pretty costly. So Fison also interviewed former Nashville Penn Madison, who said his daughter, who was born with an epilepsy disorder, has also been seeing significant improvements due to using medical marijuana. Madison said he and his wife began considering having their daughter use marijuana when the girl was in Vanderbilt University's intensive care unit. At the time, Madison said he watched a documentary by Dr. Sanjay Gupta about medical marijuana, and shortly after, the family decided to move to Colorado. "What Colorado has given us is the ability to be parents, to make our decisions," Madison said. In his latest interview posted Monday morning, Fison heard from Matthew Call, a veteran who served in the 101st Airborne Division in Afghanistan. Call said he was given nearly 90 different prescription drugs during a 4-year period when he was recovering from his injuries. "It destroyed my quality of life," Call said. Call has since moved to Colorado and has been using medical marijuana to deal with his maladies, which he said cleared his head. That's funny because, all these propaganda things talking about how it makes you not have a clear head and do dumb things and all that. Well, here's proof positive. And this, as it did with each of the interviewees, Fison asked Call to share a message to Tennesseans. Quote, "Cannabis isn't a magic bullet. It's not going to fix everything," Call said. "If you give this a chance, it has the possibility of working. This is a valuable medication, and it deserves to be explored." Standing in front of the Colorado legislature, Fison ended his latest message by encouraging Tennessee voters to call their state representatives and discuss medical marijuana. Quote, "You need to have the freedom, in my opinion, to be able to explore this," he said. Faison said he plans on speaking with law enforcement officials as well as Colorado legislators before heading back to Tennessee on Wednesday. The trip, Faison said, will factor into his decision to file legislation next year that would allow medical marijuana in Tennessee. The East Tennessee Republican made headlines last year when he introduced a bill that would have allowed people to own pet skunks. So like I said, not all Republicans are bad. In recent years, medical marijuana legislation has failed to gain traction with the General Assembly. And so that's pretty interesting. If I find his Facebook page, I'll put a link down there below the video here. It sounds like there's actually, some compassionate people in the government after all, although I don't have a whole lot of faith in the government writing marijuana legislation, especially medical marijuana. I mean, I'm in Michigan where they're about to try to tax medical marijuana, which I don't understand that. I don't understand how you can tax medicine, but that's pretty cool, and good luck with all that, Tennessee.